Josh Raven here with the Daily Dot, joined by Moses, one of the few North American representatives here at IEM Katowice. We'll jump straight into the tournament, I suppose. Obviously, yesterday we saw Group A being played out, Luminosity, Fnatic and Na'Vi going through. Did that pretty much go as you expected it, or were you kind of thinking that there was going to be a little bit of an upset in there?
Those were the three teams that we all kind of expected to go through. It was a weird roundabout way where it looked like Na'Vi might have trouble making it through. And then just Mousesports kind of collapsing at the end of the day was a heartbreak, but that's kind of what sealed the deal. But yeah, we pretty much expected those three teams until the struggles from Na'Vi came out.
And obviously it's kind of early days today, we're not really sure who's going to go through just yet, but we have played I think about half of the games so far. Who do you see going through so far? Is there anyone surprising you in this group, or is it kind of as expected as well?
Not as expected. We knew this group was going to be pretty interesting because it's not like it didn't have those dominant teams in it. It was very much like some teams that were struggling in recent times. So we knew there was going to be a little bit of a battle. Astralis has looked so incredibly good today. They've just been bodying everyone. And then the big question mark is always Virtus Pro. They came out really flat in their first game against Astralis and got crushed, and then came out and beat Envy, which is huge. So now Envy's their one with their backs against the wall at the moment. They just won their first match, 1 and 2, but it's always going to be Virtus Pro in this group is the one that everyone's keeping their eye on.
And obviously early days yet, but before we move on past Katowice type stuff, I'll ask you very now for a bold prediction. Who's going to be your finalists? Who's going to be the ones playing on that stage for the first place?
Well, it's tough because we don't know the bracket of who's been playing who, but the way things are looking right now, I think, I'm just going to go right against history because this has never happened before, but I think Astralis is going to get out first in their group, and I think it'll be them versus Luminosity in the grand final. I think that would be a sick final to have.
I think you're just saying that because Luminosity play in NA, so.
Yeah, we'd like to have one representative, if you call them that. I actually technically don't consider Luminosity North America. They play in the region, but I think that's cheating a little bit to steal them for ourselves.
Well, speaking of North America, obviously coming up, you've got the MLG Major, but before we jump to that tournament itself, we should talk about the prize pools being increased, because that's going to be the first one with the $1 million prize pool. Do you think that's enough? Really, some people have been saying that crowdfunding that's done with Dota could be brought into Counter-Strike, but it's divided quite a few opinions. What are your thoughts on that idea?
I'm fine with the $1 million. I'm happy with where it's at. I think it would have been a really weird situation if all of a sudden we got into a spot where the majors were like $5 million, and then every other tournament just kind of pales in comparison. Because we're so lucky to have like events like Katowice, a bunch of the DreamHack, the Masters events that they have coming up. Just these really cool big events throughout the year that have importance, that are like, you don't want those to be overshadowed by the fact that by the prize money. You don't want the tournament to be based on what prize is given out. So I think $1 million is a good number. A little bit late maybe, but I think overall I'm very happy with it.
Well, we'll jump over to the MLG Major. I'm trying to recall the North American teams that just made it through the qualifier. I think there was Cloud9, CLG, Liquid, yeah. And the big surprise obviously was Splice, who everyone's kind of talking about now. Did you see it coming? Was there any kind of sign that they would make it through? How have they done that?
No, I have no clue. I mean, they were the team that, watching them in the minor, I mean, that's their style. Like, they're gonna be pretty strong in these BO1s just because they have that, like, the yelling, the shouting, and the smaller environment events is going to help them out. It's going to like hurt their opponent's morale and everything. It was kind of funny because every team was playing like very quiet, and then once Splice qualified, every team was starting to get like super loud in that venue. But either way, for them to come out of that group was incredible. I don't exactly know what happened because like no one saw it coming. I didn't even think they had the skill to really stack up, but they just built some momentum and strolled through. But really cool that we have 4 North American teams. I thought that Cloud9 Renegades matchup was really good. It's good to see the Cloud9 guys still exhibiting some of that skill that they have despite some of the tactical struggles. But yeah, it should be interesting to see if any of them are going to make it out of the groups this time.
I think the North American hope right now really is Team Liquid. Obviously they've just brought on Simple and Kuster as well, but he couldn't play in their previous tournament. So looking into MLG, obviously the question's going to be, can a North American team finally do it on American soil? All that kind of stuff, be patriotic and win the major. Seems unrealistic, but do you think it's possible?
I mean, I don't think they can win. I don't even think that they'd be able to get out of the quarterfinals if someone does get out of the group. I don't see any team there that they could beat in a best of 3. Liquid definitely has the most chance, and the one interesting thing, I think it was actually really good for Liquid that Simple struggled in that match, the best of 3 they had to qualify, because it shows that his team can kind of step up to the plate when he's not performing. It gives him that little bit of an opening where now he can respect his teammates a little bit more, because he's known as being that very volatile player. When players are having off games, he gets really stressed, really worried. So with them qualifying and playing well and winning despite him struggling, I think now he's seen that other side of the coin and he can kind of trust them a little bit more moving forward. So I think that was actually really, really good for the team as a whole.
Okay. And we'll end things off. I'm sure you've had this question thrown at you a ton of times, but I do want to hear your answer for this. What do you think has to be done for North America to finally, push forward and make more of a statement against the European teams? Because it's been a very long time now since it's happened.
Yeah, the one cool thing that actually every team in North America can learn from Splice is those guys came in as like huge underdogs, and against the European teams in their group, they just came out and played their game. They were just like they knew they didn't have the best tactics. They knew they're not the best players in the world, but what they didn't do was like shy away from fights or any kind of situation they were in. They just played with supreme confidence. They said the only way we're going to win this is if we're all just, no one's afraid to take the fights that we normally would take online. And it's kind of one of the first times we've seen a North American team do that since probably Cloud9 had that run last summer, the one that we always talk about because it's all we got. But for Splice to have done that, I think it shows some of these North American teams that you don't have to come into these games and be super tactical. You just need to be very, very confident in what you are bringing to the table and find a way to succeed that way.
Well, I'll let you get back to the desk or the casting desk, whatever you're doing next. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.